You're listening to Your Highest Self podcast, episode 30, 3 steps to cultivate a more positive body image. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Shanae and I'm your host. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your mind and doing it with me today. I'm super excited to have you here. If you are new to the show, welcome. I am a retired WBFF bikini pro, which is a really fancy name for I used to be a professional bodybuilder. And in this show, my aim is to provide you holistic solutions for your fitness, nutrition, and mindset so that you can stop hating your body. You can break up with that really bad relationship with food you have so you can open up your energy to do more of the work that matters. And so a lot of this show, I provide personal development type things, but the reason why I'm bringing in this episode today about your body image is because I recognize that there is a gap, and the gap is you need to first have a rock solid relationship with your body before you're able to even think about, really stepping into who your higher self is. So this episode today, we're talking about body image, and at the heart of body image really is you having the audacity to be yourself, like untethered, yourself unfiltered, the real you at your core. When you have a positive body image, you see yourself in that light and you feel very comfortable with who you are. So even though my biggest mission is to help you be your highest self, I recognize that in order for me to get you there, I first have to get you here. I have to make sure that you feel 100% amazing in your body, that you don't think you have to be smaller or skinnier or leaner or stronger to take those steps forward to achieve your secret dream, whatever that secret dream is. Maybe it's to be a mom. Maybe it's to be a coach. Maybe it's to go back to cosmetology school or to change your career and become a nurse. Like whatever that is for you, if you're not comfortable with who you are and what you stand for, it ain't gonna work. So I just lost track of what I was gonna say. Anyhow, so it starts here. So in today's episode, I'm going to break down 3 steps for you to have a more positive body image. We're going to talk about a physical, mental, and environmental step, why picking your body apart takes away your power, how you can use judgments to give you clarity, and then how, as you all know, who you follow on social media can affect your psyche. So excited to dive into this episode with you. And if you like what you hear today, that sounded so cheesy, but if this resonates with you, if you are like, oh, I just want to be okay with who I am, I want to stop hating my body, I want to stop thinking that I need to lose weight in order to be a coach, or that I need to lose weight in order to have more opportunities for myself. If that's how you're feeling, please, 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 please apply for Mindset Makeover Academy, because this is what we do in there. It is a 10-week program, and in that program, we really, really dive deep into your all or nothing mentality. We create new systems and habits for you that are going to serve you, so you will learn how to stop dieting. You will learn how to love yourself, but at the core of it, you're really going to learn about who you are. So your values, your boundaries, all of it. There's so much. It's hard to put into a podcast intro. So if you are curious, if you want to hear about past experiences, my past clients' testimonies, just go ahead and head down to that link down in the show notes and read all about it. So I'm excited to welcome you in and to work with you. Super, super, super excited. Oh, and if you're listening to the show later, this season that I'm enrolling for is going to start February 9th. So if you're listening to this before February 9th and you're like, this is amazing, I want in this program, you still have time. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the episode. So like I said, I'm going to break this down for you in a physical, mental, and environmental step, because I want to hit all aspects of it. So like I said previously, your body image, the way you see yourself, is what we call self-esteem. And if you have positive body image and even just positive self-image, You give yourself permission to be all that you are, your most authentic self. You don't cover yourself up. You don't filter yourself. You trust yourself so much more. And that's really, really important, because if you don't have any of those aspects, like if you're missing that, then you're continuously going to find yourself either like not at ease with where you're at, or feeling stuck, or just feeling like you don't know where to go from here, or you do know where you want to go, but you continuously sabotage yourself. It's like, you could do more, but you keep sabotaging yourself and you're staying stuck here. So that's why it's important. So the first step is, let's talk about physical. So if we're talking about body image from a physical standpoint, I'm talking about your weight and I'm talking about how you look. So the first couple things you got to stop doing in the physical realm is stop weighing yourself every day, and then also stop picking yourself apart in the mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror, so we're going to start with this one, and you have the urge to separate out your arms, like, oh, my arms look great, but my thighs look terrible, but oh, my legs look great today, but why is my stomach so bloated? When you actively pick yourself apart in the mirror that way, what you're doing is you're disconnecting yourself. So you're disconnecting your mind from your body. You're not being cohesive. You're basically taking away your own power. The truth is, like, we are most strong as a whole being and as a whole person. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, I encourage you to start looking at your body as a whole. And if you have the urge to criticize yourself or to say something like, my arms don't look, or my arms look great today, like, even if it's a positive thing, reframe it and say something about your internal being that can't be taken away from you. Like, what are the innate characteristics about yourself that you really admire? So not physical, not even like, wow, you have a great smile. Like, none of that. Side note, I don't love affirmations about our body. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And here's why it doesn't work. So it doesn't work because learning to love your body physically, like the weight of who you are and how much space you take up, is a process. And we don't go from self-hate to self-love in one step. There's a bunch of steps in between. So self-hate to self-loathing to self-acceptance to neutrality, like just saying, like, I have a body, I have legs, I have arms, I have a stomach, I have a body, I am a human. After self-neutrality is then when we move into self-acceptance. Accepting where your body looks in the reality. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you to not be in reality. If you really don't like how your arms look, then you can accept that you don't like them. And you can start to cultivate habits that serve you, that will make you feel strong, right? Like, I'm not here telling you that you can't have nice arms. You can have nice arms, but your arms don't dictate who you are, and they don't stop you from taking action. If your arms are stopping you from taking action and saying, well, I can't do that because my arms look terrible, that's where we don't want to be. That is not positive body image. So after we get into self-acceptance, that's when we can start to get into self-like and then self-love. So there are so many steps between self-hate and self-love. Do not get down on yourself if you can't shift into self-love right away. You have to go through those different steps. The second part about the physical is weighing yourself. It really, like, I'm just going to say it, it just doesn't matter how much you weigh, you guys. Like, can we just stop? Can you just throw your scale away? Can you stop dictating your self-worth by how much you weigh in the morning? Throw it away. I don't own a scale. My boxing coach a couple months ago asked me how much I weigh, and I was like, honestly, I have no idea. Like, literally no clue, and I don't care. So my wish for you when it comes to positive body image, kind of like I said a little bit ago, is not to love yourself. Like, I just don't, I want you to love who you are. I don't care about you loving what you look like on the external. Okay. Second step is mental. So what can we do in the mental realm to help us have more positive body image? My absolute favorite spiritual counselor / clairvoyant, Reverend Ginny Brown. She's on this podcast, episode number 5, Finding Your Inner Light with Ginny Brown. We talked about this quote that she said that just rocked me to my core, which was, the harsher the judgment, the deeper the wound. So on a mental level, I want you to stop having judgments about other people's bodies. And I know that me telling you to stop is not going to work. So instead, let me reframe what I just said. I want you to get curious about how judgmental you are towards other people's bodies. Just get a little bit curious. When you see someone wearing a crop top, what is the first thought that comes up for you? When you see someone post a video or a photo of themselves in their underwear and they're a body positive person, or maybe they're a competitor, what is the thought you have about them? When you can get curious about these thoughts and these judgments and not shame yourself for having the judgments, it's like a gold mine for how you are feeling. Taking it back to Ginny's quote, the harsher the judgment, the deeper the wound. That is because what you notice in other people, so these judgments are a reflection of things inside yourself that have not been healed, or insecurities within yourself, aka the word wound. To give you an example, when I was competing, I literally thought everyone else was so lazy. I was personal training full time. I was doing like 95 sessions a month. I was also creating content on social media. I was creating YouTube videos. I had my Instagram community. I was dieting and prepping and doing all this stuff. And I just thought everyone was so lazy. And I couldn't understand how the other personal trainers couldn't get clients. I'm like, how do you not have clients? Like, you were so lazy. And I'm laughing about it now, but looking back on that time, there were 2 distinct things. One, me thinking everyone was lazy was a reflection on me that I thought that my self-worth was inextricably tied to my hustle, my grind, the effort that I put out, how disciplined I am, how much I do. And so that was a really big learning lesson for me. And all of 2019 was basically me unlearning this, unlearning that my output of what I do is not directly tied to who I am. Okay. And the second part was I judged others for not looking as great as I did. I, would immediately notice if a girl who was lifting weights all the time in the gym, like, wasn't making progress, or if she could have been doing her squats better, or if her shoulders were not rounded out and her traps were huge. Those are all insecurities I had about myself. I was so insecure about my traps. I was so insecure that I wasn't like doing things properly. I was, it's like, it's so interesting because when you see a competitor, they like look abnormally amazing, but they are probably the most insecure people in the world. I was so insecure. And so again, like how the quote says, because I was so insecure about myself in those aspects, I harshed other people. I judged other people so harshly because of that. So if you want to have a more positive body image, then let's get curious about the judgments you're making about other people so that you can see that this is an opportunity for you to do some inner work around. The third step, let's talk about our environment. So as far as environment goes, I want to talk to you about like social media, so the people that you follow, and also perhaps the people that you're spending your time with. So let's start there. So you've heard the quote, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. What are the conversations that you and your friends are having? Do you talk about dieting all the time? Do you talk about how fat you feel? Do you talk about how much weight you gained? Do you talk about what you did or did not eat over the weekend? Or are you talking about your dreams and your goals? Are you talking about where you want to be in 5 years? Are you talking about like family and the triggers that you're working through? What are your conversations like? I had this discussion with the girls inside Mindset Makeover Academy, in the first season, and one of the girls in there, she really realized that she was the person who was leading the conversations around body image and dieting and not feeling great. And when she changed her conversation and she stopped talking about that, she effectively changed the conversations all around her. And because she was no longer talking about bodies anymore, she felt so much more confident, because when she was always talking about bodies, she just felt really insecure because her body wasn't where she wanted it to be. So changing the environment first starts with you. Who are you hanging out with? And then what are the conversations that you're having? Number two is your Instagram account. Like, let's be honest, we all spend a lot of time on social media. So audit your Instagram feed. Are you following fitness people who do fitness full time for a living and they look shredded 24/7? Or are you following a wide variety of body sizes and body shapes? Are you um are you only following people who post like their butt photos with like a Bible quote? Or are you following people who are, providing value and asking you to think differently? I think that this makes a really, really big impact on your personal development and your self growth. And if you don't find yourself following people who inspire you to think differently, who maybe trigger you in a couple different ways and like really cause you to think like, oh, how am I showing up like this for myself? Then I encourage you to go find some accounts. The social landscape is changing. Like, I really feel like the paradigm is shifting. A lot of people are shying away from, or not shying away from, but are finally realizing that the ab selfies and like all these workout videos, like they're fun and they're cool to watch, but they're always the same. It doesn't really get you anywhere. It's like, how many sumo squat videos do you have to see until you get tired of seeing sumo squat videos, right? So just audit your feed. Make sure that the people that you're following are people who are really helping you grow. People ask me all the time, like, Shanae, who are your mentors? My mentors are the people I follow on Instagram. I purposely audit my feed so that I am seeing educational content, content that's value driven, and content that really forces me to level up my way of thinking, plus my clients. Like, that is who I follow. That's my environment. There was a study I read, I can't remember where, I think it was in a book, that said that like women, people in general, no matter what your education is, like when you see a magazine cover or when you see a photo that you know is photoshopped, even though no matter how brilliant you are, you still fall for it and will have like a twinge of like, oh, I don't look like that. Like, you'll still compare yourself. And so I think this is also like really important to put that filter on when you're looking at stuff on social media, and just knowing that there's filters on things. And now that I think about it, yes, I will be honest. I always put the Paris filter on my face when I take a selfie, and I'm going to call myself out on it. And I'm going to stop using it, or when I use it, I'm going to be honest with it so that you know. I think it's just important for me to lead with integrity. Like I said, that's my not my resolution, but my big goal this year is leading with integrity. So maybe you can do the same. Maybe you can also look at where are you showing up on Instagram or just in your day-to-day life where it's not helpful for someone else's body image. I kind of went off on a tangent there. I hope that made sense. So anyhow, the physical, the mental, and the environmental. These are 3 ways where you can start to cultivate a more positive body image. And if I haven't convinced you yet, this is going to be the first step in you being able to become your highest self. Because if you're so busy being worried about your body, then you're not going to have time to chase your passion. And maybe your passion is being a coach. Maybe your passion is starting a business, starting a clothing line, like whatever it might be, until you can start to look at yourself in the same lens that like your number one biggest fan looks at you in. Like maybe for you, that's your mom. for me, that's like my husband, Henrik. He is my biggest absolute fan. In his eyes, I could do no wrong. Actually, that's probably not completely true, but I know he loves and supports me so much. Until I could start to see myself with his eyes, I could not go after my dreams. I could not live a more empowered and intentional life. And so it really does start here. So if I have convinced you and you're struggling with this and you don't want to struggle with it anymore, then apply for Mindset Makeover Academy. Immediately, you're going to be surrounded by 6 people who are committed to self-growth, committed to living a lifestyle that's not centered around dieting and wanting to be in a smaller body anymore. So that's going to be, number 1, we're just going to change that. So anyhow, I hope that this episode was helpful. If it was, take a screenshot, post it on your story, and tell me which one you're going to start. Are you going to go physical? Or are you going to go mental? Are you going to go environmental? Or maybe you're going to tell me about a judgment that you're having that you got real curious about and is reflecting you, or having you reflect and do some inner work. I love those things. So let me know, hit me up in the DM, send me an email. If you have any questions about Mindset Makeover Academy, please just DM me. I answer everyone. It's really me speaking back to you. I'm more than happy to just walk you through it, and let's get on a call and talk about it more. So I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Next week, we're talking about the heart pillar. So the 3rd pillar inside Mindset Makeover Academy, and what has honestly helped me shape my life that I'm intentionally living today. And the heart pillar is all about your emotional wellness. Yes, emotional wellness. And if you're like, what the heck is that? It is everything to do about emotions. So, how you feel about yourself, to any traumas that maybe need to be healed, any of those little boxes that you've stuck up in the attic that you don't want to read about. And so that's what we're going to be talking about next week. Specifically, we're going to talk about the when-then game. So the when-then game is when you tell yourself, well, I'll be happy when I have this, or I'll do this, then I'll be successful. So a lot of that has to do with your heart and your soul. So I'm so excited to talk about that with you guys next week. I hope you have an amazing day. Don't forget to be your highest self. Bye-bye for now.